The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Sorry. Welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together, brought to you by Purple Heart Homes. I didn't know if Joe was giving me the thumbs up to start or what, and he's like shaking.
You know,
go.
You could just look at the timer and go, okay, it's been 5 seconds, and just start right on up. You know.
For those of you listening, not watching, we have a timer that I've just never really paid attention to. That is on a 27-inch screen right in front of my face.
Yeah, it's 4 foot away from you, and it takes up basically all of our view straight ahead. So I don't know how you could miss that.
Well, again, welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Right.
Brought to you by Purple Heart Homes. We're your hosts, Leah Gutierrez and Devil Dog Devin.
Hoorah!
I got it right that time. I didn't stutter.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. You just forgot to actually say it. I mean, I think I'd rather you stutter coming in.
Oh, whatever brings you comedy.
Yeah. My gosh. And you blow out your cheeks before you start. The audience never gets to see that, but she like puffs up like a frog. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So if you cannot see that right now, that means you're probably listening on radio. And remember,
because Joe tells us to stop talking.
Well, yeah.
And I have to hold my breath.
You have to hold your breath. Well, I was getting to the point, if they were listening on the radio, they could always see your beautiful face by going to our YouTube channel, Purple Heart Homes, or go to our website, phhusa.org. We've now got a little section where you can find the videos right there, and they'll be embedded. You can't miss them. You just like hit right there. It's like a hole-in-one.
Sunday, we launched our new website.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's actually really neat and has a lot more stories on it.
Absolutely.
Like it.
Well, so let's get to our guest.
I had like the whole like segue plan. I was like,
you had a segue plan.
I was like, Devin, why are you teed off? Speaking of tea, well, our guest is. That was cheesy. Okay.
Well, so tell them.
It's our guest is retired Colonel Tony Henderson. Well, I stutter with names.
Hi, Tony.
Right? Oh.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Tony,
I'm nervous. It's a colonel sitting here in front of me, and I'm like, oh.
The level of professionalism is over the top.
Tony is the owner of River Oaks Golf Club in
Statesville, North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You own that one?
But Leah, did you do any research before the show?
Well, and I'm sorry, when I hear River Oaks, I always think Mooresville, and I forgot. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. As I was.
So,
take over.
Tony's the owner of the River Oaks Golf Club and also a retired colonel of the Air Force for 27 years. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, 27 years.
Well, it was only going to start out as 4 years.
They always say that.
And I just lost track of time.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Was that really the plan?
Fast.
Honestly, it was the plan. I graduated high school. I went to West Iredell High School here in Statesville. Mm-hmm. And graduated from high school, had an ROTC scholarship, which I owed them 4 years for. Yeah. So the plan was do my 4 years, get out. After 4 years, it wasn't too bad. I made captain. So stayed in for another assignment. Kind of enjoyed it. Got deployed to Desert Storm during that second phase, and kind of got remotivated. And all of a sudden, I'm at 18 years. Well, at that point, you're going to stay 20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean you might as well.
Like the 12-year mark, some people say is like if you make it to 12, you might as well just make it to.
Well, if you do the math, if you make it to 8, you might as well stay.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it just went from 4 to 8 to 12 to 20 to, oh, what the heck? We'll just stay a little longer.
Well, gosh, don't you make a little bit more money in retirement if you get to 30, though?
Well, I don't want to get political about why I got out. The truth is I got out at 27. I was up for a deployment, which would have been fine. 1 year in Afghanistan working with the Afghan recruiting effort.
I see.
I would have missed my daughter's wedding and my daughter's college graduation.
Yeah.
And she'd given enough.
Yeah.
Well,
that was the same. I retired after 27 years, and my boys were 4 and 6 at the time, and I was like, it was time to get out. Like, I didn't want them to miss anything.
Well, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
And thank you for the sacrifice that both you and your family made. Speaking of family, you're like the product of an Air Force family, right?
Yeah, my dad did 23 years. He worked in missile maintenance. We followed the FB-111s and the B-52s around. He worked mostly on the SRAM missile. So I was born at Eglin Air Force Base, and then we went to Fairchild Air Force Base and Carswell Air Force Base and Griffiths Air Force Base and Pease Air Force Base. And then he's from Union Grove, so we came back here.
No kidding.
I was halfway through my freshman year in high school.
Did you always anticipate following in your dad's footsteps? I mean, was the military something in your future?
I think so. As far back as I can remember, I wanted to be in. Whenever they did, what do you want to do when you grow up? Stuff in sixth grade, it was I wanted to be a police officer.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to be something military. I didn't realize at that time that military could mean a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
if there's a civilian job, they probably have a military version of it.
At least, yes.
Yeah. A lot of folks don't realize that.
Yeah. An Air Force base and an Army base. It's a community. It's got everything.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, so was your father an officer or?
No, he retired as a master sergeant. And I had told him early in high school, I think I'm going to enlist in the Marines.
Oh, God.
I was going to say, you just made Devin's day.
They have cool uniforms.
Oh, they do. Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
tell you, a Marine is very sharp in his dress uniform. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
But he mentioned going to college, which I didn't have the funds for at the time. I'd have gone to Mitchell probably. But he said, I think there are ways that the Air Force will pay for you to go to college. So ask a few questions, sent some letters out to ask questions, and next thing I know, I'm on a 4-year ROTC scholarship to Georgia Tech.
No kidding.
What did you get your degree in?
I got a bachelor's in industrial engineering, later on a master's in industrial engineering, and then a master's in strategic policy.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes. I hear that Georgia Tech's engineering programs are highly sought after.
Well, the industrial engineering program is number one in the nation. So yeah.
Yeah. That's not an
Not
easy
bad degree
program
choice.
there.
No.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, Leah, is I think he might be smarter than both of us combined.
He joined the Air Force, so of course he's smarter.
He's definitely smarter than us.
We're two grunts over here.
I probably lived better when I was deployed than you did.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah, it's you're.
I've never seen a tent have an air conditioned unit until I went to Afghanistan.
Well, when the Air Force builds an Air Force base, the first thing they put in is a flight line and a golf course.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember when I had to go to Fort Irwin, California, and the Air Force was dropping us off. And there was golf clubs there. And they're like, the pilot was, I need you guys to get your stuff and get off because we have a tea time that we got to get back to. And I mean, we were no sooner off the runway when that plane was turned around and taken back off.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding. I giggled.
That must be why he ended up coming back and buying a golf course. Is he got so used to it in the Air Force.
No, actually, retired from the Air Force. We built my retirement house in the community at River Oaks. Golf course went bankrupt, so I bought it to protect my property value.
Oh my gosh! No kidding. That's pretty interesting. But we've only got about 30 seconds from the break, and we're going to talk a little bit more about River Oaks and how that came to be when we get back from there. But there's also something else we wanted to hit on that's pretty important that we're probably going to hit first, which is you were in the Pentagon on 9/11, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
I think that all of our audience would love to hear that story, and whatever you're willing and able to tell. I think everyone can remember where they were on 9/11, and we're going to hear about where you were when we get back from these messages. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
I didn't know this was. And welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. I actually watched the clock that time.
Oh, good job.
Thank you. I counted down. And then Joe gave me the thumbs up, so we're good.
I thought that was strange. Everybody says that the Marines can't count, but it apparently was the Army.
I was an MP, so that's my excuse. I didn't have to.
Oh, an MP, yeah, because everybody loves the MPs.
Especially the Marines. You guys kept us job security.
Job security? How you were on an Army base, weren't you?
Yeah, but they were joint bases too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, and if there's one Marine there's a whole heap of trouble typically
That's all it
to
takes
go
is
along
one
with
to just ruin it for everyone.
but the Air Force, they're a little bit more gentlemanly, and they do things a little more proper. And
I always told my dad, I said, I bet a 4-star hotel was roughing it for you. Now, my dad was Air Force. He did 20-some years, so I pick on him about that all the time.
Now, Holiday Inn was roughing it.
Yeah.
oh wow, yeah.
Golly, if we got a Super 8 or a Microtel, back in, we thought, wow. We had running water. We were like, woohoo.
I never got to stay in a hotel as a Marine, so I don't know anything about that.
I don't believe they were allowed.
No. I'm sure if we were doing like a joint task force with the Air Force and they needed the Air Force to stay in a hotel, we would have probably been in the parking lot in a in a 2-man hooch.
And more comfortable that way, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't want the bed bugs that are inside. Yeah, are you kidding me? Yeah.
What's a cot?
A cot. But you have been in some uncomfortable situations, though.
A few.
Yeah. And we were just talking about before the break.
Right.
By the way, if you're just now joining us, this is Colonel Tony Henderson, retired from the U.S. Air Force of 27 years. And we were just discussing right before the break that you were actually in the Pentagon on 9/11.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was, as I've told people, it was kind of a normal day. I believe if memory serves, it was a Tuesday morning and nice sunny day. I'm sitting in my little cubicle looking out the window where I can see the next part of the building over.
Layers, yeah. Because inside is like a court or a courtyard.
Yeah, and I'm on 4th floor E ring, so I'm on the exterior ring, 4th floor. I can see D ring on the other side of my window, and you can see a little sunlight when you look up. And it was just a nice day. And then somebody had said an airplane hit a tower, hit one of the World Trade Center towers, and I'm immediately thinking, oh, it's a Cessna or something.
Right.
It got blown off course and. No, we pulled it up on the TV just in time to see the second one go in.
No kidding.
So we're sitting there, and I turned to I was a lieutenant colonel at the time. Turned to a lieutenant colonel I was working with, and told her, "I'm surprised that we weren't a target." It was obviously purposeful at that point. Not 10 seconds later, boom!
Oh my gosh!
I'm about 150, 180 yards from impact.
Oh my gosh!
You wouldn't think that a building made of concrete and granite would move, but it moved. Smoke come rolling down the hall, the claxons are going off, and we knew immediately what it was. We had been hit. Our exit was towards the impact site. So down the hall, down 4 flights of stairs, and out across the walk ramp into the parking lot. What I tell people amazed me the most was the order and the calmness of people leaving. Everyone knew what happened.
Really?
But we exited that building orderly, no pushing, no shoving. I didn't even cry. It was good. Nice and calm.
No.
As we exited the walking ramp into the parking lot, you could feel the heat coming off the end of the building. You could smell the jet fuel burning. So again, no doubt what had happened. We get out in the parking lot. We're standing there waiting to be, like all good military folks, to be told what to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, about 15, 20 minutes, they said, exit under the interstate over into Crystal City because we think there's another plane inbound.
Holy smokes.
And that's, of course, the one that went down in Shanksville.
Yes.
That was one that was aimed for the White House, or the Capitol. Yeah.
Well, the thought is the one that hit the Pentagon was aiming for the Capitol. Now, we don't know that for a fact,
right.
But it had circled, and they think they couldn't find their target. So they saw the Pentagon, which they knew what it was, and they hit right over the helipad. There's a helipad on one corner, and thankfully, that's the least populated part of the Pentagon. It had just recently been renovated, so it was the most hardened section of the Pentagon, and it minimized the amount of damage to a degree. But the thought was, they couldn't find their primary target, and that's why they hit the Pentagon.
Did you guys realize at the time that it was an airliner or like a huge, as big as it was?
Well, we all figured it had to be the way it hit, the way it moved the building, and what had already hit the Trade Center.
Yeah.
We pretty much knew what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, you couldn't see anything when you exited. You just saw the big ball of fire and the flames.
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't realize is the next day we were all back in the building.
Really?
Well, that's when the real work had to start.
Yeah, the cleanup and everything.
Well,
yeah.
not just the cleanup. We were at war.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and that's what the Pentagon's there for. Now, at that point, I held a compartmentalized security clearance, and one of the sections that got hit was the personnel section of Army, and there was a lot of classified information there. Of course, they were mostly gone. So I spent the better part of a week in that section trying to secure classified information while they were doing cleanup.
Wow.
So that was a little eye-opening. But we were back in there almost immediately, got the place cleaned up, and starting getting down to the serious business that we had to get to.
Right.
At that point is when I decided I wasn't retiring at 20 years. It kind of remotivated me.
Yeah.
That was it.
I was at the 18-year point, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, 2 more years, I can retire, 50% pay, part-time job at Starbucks. Yeah, I can make ends meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of remotivated me.
It's strange, like how
You
often I
regain
hear
your
that.
sense of purpose again. I think sometimes when you're in so long, you kind of forget your purpose, and then this obviously reignited that purpose.
And I know y'all's experiences were different, but as an officer, you spend so much time at a headquarters, so much time on a staff,
Right.
you really get disconnected from the mission,
Yeah.
and that reconnected.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I can't imagine what that would have been like to be there. But I think the thing that I found most striking about your story is that how orderly you're. I guess that's one of the reasons why the civilian world needs to think about what it takes to be in military readiness, because if you do anything that distracts
Can't
from
panic.
military, you can't panic. In those situations, military folks, they're trained to just keep on moving the mission forward. You knew a plane had just hit your building and everybody's just walking out orderly.
Well,
because
I think too is you're trained to, when trauma happens or something, you're automatically clicked to like go into reactive mode, like
Absolutely.
going to protective.
Well, and planning and drilling is a huge part of it. About a month and a half before the incident, we had done a fire drill in the Pentagon where we all evacuated where we were supposed to evacuate, and our doors were chained shut.
really?
So
you had to find an alternate route.
that time we did. Luckily, when 9/11 happened, they had the chains off the doors.
Well, that's lovely. I'm glad they remembered to do that.
So having practice sessions, rehearsal sessions, drill is important. It shows you where your shortcomings are.
Oh yeah. And I think, like I remember sitting on the couch watching, and I was just thinking about this when we were talking. I think kids seeing 9/11 happen was the same as us in my generation watching the Challenger
Yes.
explode. It's like kind of that same.
Well, and it's you have a generation now that wasn't born on 9/11.
Right.
Absolutely.
And don't have a real concept as to what that was, what it did to the country, the devastation and the trauma of it happening, and the way it united a country.
Yeah.
It's sad that it takes something like that to unite us, and I hope that my children's generation doesn't have to experience something like that. But when it did happen, I don't think I'd ever felt a more sense of togetherness.
Yeah, I remember like growing up, we had Veterans Day and certain holidays. I don't remember celebrating it as much as we have now. Like you knew those days existed and what they were for, but I think after 9/11 is when people started showing more pride and more appreciation and more dedication and more cohesiveness and compassion towards one another.
Well, my daughter went to a private Christian school when I was in the Pentagon. I think she was in the 4th or 5th grade, and of course they knew where all the parents worked, and they knew that I was in the Pentagon, so they went and got her out of class. Told her what had happened. I couldn't reach anybody. And we had cell phones back then, but not the way they are now.
Right.
No.
So I couldn't call family. All the lines were full. I could call my mom and dad in Statesville on long lines.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
And they passed the information on that I was okay.
That's wow. That's pretty crazy. I never would have thought about something like that.
You don't think how far we've come with technology and communication, but you didn't have smartphones back then. You basically had a flip phone.
That's true.
A BlackBerry.
Well, I had that Nokia candy bar phone that you could drop and it'd break into a million pieces, and you put it back together like a Lego
set. I had a Nextel.
The technology is continuing to progress, and we're going to have to adapt to that.
Yeah, it brings a whole new sense to readiness.
It does. Yeah, there's a lot to be ready for, and hopefully we're going in the right direction to help with that. But who knows what's on the horizon? Maybe you. I mean, you were in the Pentagon.
Long time ago.
I understand. So
everybody I served was retired now.
Yeah. I feel like he doesn't want to tell us what he knows. Maybe we can get out of him if we go to break or something. We can nudge him a little bit, get some secrets.
Talk about Area 51.
Hey, we're going to go to break so we can talk about Area 51 with Colonel Tony Henderson. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
And welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. I don't know why I always say and. Welcome back.
It's like you're continuing something.
I am.
Well, you are continuing something.
Continuing our mission, our conversation.
I mean, yeah, we are. We're continuing the mission of Purple Heart Homes to help veterans with housing needs.
Yes.
That's right.
And if you like to see what we're doing and you like to donate, you can always go to phhusa.org and check out our new website.
Absolutely. Wow, you went right into that.
I
Good
did.
for you.
Am I getting better?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just checking. You're getting
John. Can I get fired again?
Oh man,
again.
Yeah, and also there on the new website, there's a nice little tab that says events. And we have an upcoming event. If you're local to Statesville area, or even if you just want to come in on April 11th.
If you like golf.
Yeah. We're having a golf tournament at River Oaks Golf Tournament.
Yes.
Golf Club. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
River Oaks Golf Club.
Yeah. Somebody here might know something about that. Hey, Tony.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you?
So if you're just joining us, retired Colonel Tony Henderson, owner of
River Oaks Golf Course.
Yeah.
Yay!
And if you want to know more about it, www.golfriveroaks.com.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, you got to plug the website there.
Well, I saw you plug yours.
Hey.
Of course.
Of course, it is your web show. So.
We don't mind shout outs every now and then.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we especially want you to shout out the club this time because we want folks to see your beautiful club.
I heard you put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
It's come a long way.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that I bought it out of bankruptcy.
How?
Well, I just retired from the Air Force. I made an offer with this Bank of Granite back then. It was a toxic asset they had.
Bank of Granite.
Long gone.
It was not solid as a rock.
No, not so much. But I made an offer that I probably couldn't have afforded. We had a major flood. It washed bridges away. It washed greens away.
Wow.
I came back then. I was still assigned at the Pentagon at the time. My second tour at the Pentagon. Came down and looked it over, and the golf pro that was working there for the bank said, "Well, you probably want to back out of this now." I said, "No, I think I just saved a lot of money."
Oh!
I made them a lowball offer. Basically, they gave me 48. They sold me 48 building lots and gave me a golf course.
No kidding.
Which I had to fix up, but I had a buddy who did construction and earth moving, and we got it fixed up pretty quick. I bought it on the 6th of April. We were reopened on the 30th of April.
Wow.
That's
of
impressive.
2010.
Wow. So you were immediately like, let's turn in some revenue.
Well, I owed the bank money. I had to pay it back. So yeah. But the first 4 or 5 years, it's like, what kind of mistake did I make?
I think anyone that owns their own business, usually, the first couple of years.
Well, they can give you a golf course, but they don't tell you I still have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
So the first 4 or 5 years were really touch and go. My second year into it, I hired the superintendent that I have now. Chad Wyrick, and he's absolutely the best in the area. Don't anybody, don't write that down because I don't want him to leave. But over time and with the limited resources I had, we've turned the golf course around, and it's as good a playing golf course as anything within 50, 100 miles.
That's awesome.
And the work never stops. We closed down 2 summers ago, redid the greens, redid a bunch of the other stuff, put about $1 million into the course, and it's just spectacular. Plays up about 32% year over year because of the renovations.
Really?
But when we had Purple Heart Homes coming in for their tournament, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, going to be a pretty good sized crowd. Needed a little more space to properly serve them. So over this winter, we are renovating the lower level of the clubhouse, making an event area downstairs where we can seat the proper number of people, and do it with class.
That's awesome. So you're renovating with Purple Heart Homes in mind.
Well, you're the driving force for doing it this quickly.
Well,
I do have a wedding scheduled later in the fall that we're doing down there, but I could have waited till July or August for that. But y'all are the driving force for doing this.
That's all. Well, we certainly
honored.
appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, and to be able to do our tournament at a course that a veteran owns is, man, that's amazing. And
as a veteran who owns it, it's special to have y'all out there.
Yes. Great call.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. And I know that these things, when you're doing these charity golf tournaments, it's always hard because you're trying to budget. Okay, how much are we spending, and how much is it going to cost to do the course and the catering, and y'all have done us fantastic here. I know that you have to make a profit to keep the lights on, but you still did it in a way that we could earn money to put towards housing needs for veterans, and we greatly appreciate that.
And that's a priority. I would love to be able to donate everything, but like you said, I still have bills to pay.
Absolutely.
But we try to work with the appropriate organizations who are doing tournaments for good causes. Make sure that they can be profitable. It's worth their time, and it's still worth our time. What I tell most of them, and y'all know this, is if your golfers pay for the tournament, your sponsors make you the money, and y'all have an organization that can reach out and find sponsors, and you have the cause that people want to donate to.
Yes.
That's kind of what I would encourage anybody listening to this is reach out to Purple Heart Homes. This is a gold-plated platinum level charity. Reach out and help them.
Well, thank you for that endorsement there,
and then come to River Oaks and play golf.
That's right. And if you'd like to play in our golf tournament, again, that's April 11th. And I think that at this point, there's only 15 more teams available, 4-man teams.
We're going to load the course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the early bird special, which it's 150 per person for early bird, but it goes up to 175 on February 28th. So that's the last day of early bird. Be sure to get in there quick and do it with get your 4-man team established so you don't have to play with folks you don't know. Yeah,
and I think we're feeding y'all a couple of meals during this.
Yeah, lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner, lots of prizes. Yeah, we've got a Eagles Bar and Grill, which is associated. That's my food and beverage operation at the golf course. Eagles, kind of a play on words. Retired Colonel's an Eagle, and Eagle's a 2 under par. So it fits golf and it fits my military background.
That's awesome.
But Eagles Bar and Grill is going to take good care of everybody. Our food's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Do you have a putt course? Because I don't do golf.
We have a practice green that you can go putt around on.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. They got you covered.
Yay.
And me too, because I don't.
I took a golf club like a ball bat.
I'm the worst golfer in the world that owns a golf course.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's just a fact. I play maybe once a year.
No kidding.
It's a business. I told you before, I did it to keep my property value from falling on the house that I built. So,
have you? Yeah, I'm guessing you're successful at that.
Well,
the county assessor come over and let you know that you were?
On a regular basis.
My mortgage just went up $100, and I was like, "It's not adjustable. How'd that happen?"
It's insane.
Oh, taxes.
Yeah. and Iredell County is really good on taxes. Shout out to Iredell County. We're low, but it still gets high.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the value of all properties have increased exponentially in the last 5 years. So.
That's kind of the plan, I think. That's kind of what you want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially if you're a homeowner or a property owner, or if you own a large piece of land out in the western part of Iredell County. I'm guessing that would
168 and a half acres.
Yeah, man. Well, so I know that there's still some sponsorships available. You mentioned supporting us. If any of folks out there, if you are interested in sponsoring this tournament, there are sponsorships available from $250 all the way to $10,000 if you want to be a key sponsor. So go to phhusa.org events and click on the page. You can see how to do that, or you can sign up for the tournament and go to what website to see River Oaks Golf Course?
www.golfriveroaks.com.
All right. So yeah, check both the websites out. You can see the course ahead of time and support a charity that you love.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go back to these messages and I've lost what I'm saying. So we'll see you later. I'll get my time back.
Welcome back to putting the pieces back together. I made sure not to say and.
Well, why did you call attention to it? You could have just rolled on out.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen that movie Animal House with was it James Belushi? John Belushi. John Belushi. And you make that frog that frog face, and I always think about the scene with the mashed potatoes. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, you're too young.
You might have to just pop that scene up.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest comedies of all time. Yeah,
greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Oh man, it was a big hit.
It was.
Speaking of big hits.
I like how you did that. Keep going.
Yeah. Why don't we talk to Tony, retired colonel of the Air Force, about the big hits of his career? What was your favorite station when you were in the Air Force?
I kind of like different stations for different reasons. My first duty assignment was Lowry Air Force Base in Denver, Colorado, which was interesting because that was my dad's first duty assignment.
Oh.
It's where he met my mom, and it's where they got married.
No kidding.
So I had a couple uncles out there, which was kind of nice.
Oh, wow. That's
great skiing, cold weather. But that was a favorite assignment simply because where it was and the relation to my family. Then from there, I went to San Antonio.
Lackland. Or were you at Kelly?
I was at Randolph, then at Lackland.
Okay.
So I did 6 years, 2 assignments there.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, overgrown cow town. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Hot.
Oh.
Hot, yeah.
Then it rains and everything floods and then it gets hot again.
So a delightful place, really.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things.
Yeah. I retired.
During that time, yeah.
I considered retiring there for, about a minute.
Looked around and be like, yeah, no.
And then sometimes you've got to watch what you ask for. My dream assignment, I wanted to go to Langley Air Force Base in Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Close to home. It's headquarters Air Combat Command.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool duty station.
Worst assignment I ever had.
Really?
Boring.
Oh.
Well, that was at the time when Strategic Air Command and Tactical Air Command shut down.
Oh, yeah.
And they recombined as Air Combat Command at Langley. So there was 2 major commands worth of staff to do 1 major command's worth of work.
No kidding. And no matter what rank you are, you're going to have to salute a lot of people.
And I got real good at playing free cell.
Oh my gosh.
It was boring. That was the first time I seriously considered getting out of the Air Force. But that's when I hit 8 years or so and really couldn't justify it.
You figured if you held on for another 12, it'd be worth it.
Well, then right after that, I went all the way across the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel to Norfolk in the Joint Command, U.S. Atlantic Command. That was the first time I got to work closely with Army, Navy, Marines, as well as Air Force.
Holy smokes!
So it kind of opened my eyes to the way the other branches worked, how their structure served them. That was a really, really good assignment.
What'd you think about working with the Marines there? Was it?
General Sheehan was the 4-star commander. So so the entire command. It was the first time that once a week we had to get in early in formation and run. The Air Force. If the Air Force is running, somebody's chasing us.
You better see what's going on.
So you never had to run in the military?
You never had a fun run?
We'd done PT runs and all that, and I've always been
mandatory
a
fun run.
Yeah. But this was the first formation runs as a unit with our Army Sergeant First Class, calling Jodies out, and taking turns carrying the guidon, looping the field. We make it look like a spectacle. It was a different experience.
I bet.
You're probably running around going, oh man, I feel sorry for that guy carrying that guidon running.
Oh, we took turns. It was for us non-Army, us Air Force folks in particular, it's a badge of honor to get to do it.
That's true.
No kidding. Wow, that's awesome. I never would have thought about that. I mean, that
we just it's not part of the Air Force culture. Unit runs like that. We do our annual PT, and most people in the Air Force work out more than you think they do. Yeah. But
a friend of Carrie, the Chief Operations Executive. What is
Chief Operations Officer.
Chief Operations Officer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got her name. I got that wrong.
I just said coup.
Hopefully she doesn't watch the show.
X-May on the open stream. She does watch.
Her son is in the Air Force, and he came back, and I've known this kid his entire life, and he is just ripped. And I was like, you did it. You found the only gym in the Air Force.
We have gyms. They're not always crowded, but we have them.
Do you? Yeah. They've got a TCBY in them, don't they?
Well, you have to have refreshment after your workout.
That's right. A smoothie bar.
So what does a PT test in the Air Force consist of?
Actually, it's right up there with the other services. Max push-ups, max sit-ups, 1.5 mile run for time.
1.5 miles.
1.5 miles, huh?
And then
knew I should join the Air Force.
then you have your percent body fat measurement. They measure your waist and
that was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it absolutely.
We had guys that were like bodybuilders, huge bodybuilders, and they were still over. Yeah, they had to get taped because they weighed over, and then they were over the tape measurements.
I had to get taped just one time, and they looked at me. They didn't actually tape me. I just walked in. They looked at me and they said, "Go away."
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, I served through the time when the Air Force got overly scientific, got rid of the run, and we did the ergometry test, riding a stationary bicycle with a little heart monitor.
So that was real. I thought that was like a myth that we made up to make fun of y'all.
No, it was real, and we deserved to be made fun of over it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just so you're aware, the Marine Corps PT test is 3 miles. Yeah.
Ours is 2.
Yeah,
yours is 2.
Yeah, that was the old one.
And the Navy's either a 1.5 mile or a 1/2 mile swim,
or a 1/2 mile swim.
Yeah, they get their choice.
No kidding.
Now, all my data's a little dated because I've been retired a while, but that's how it was.
I didn't actually know that. We're learning more with Tony.
You make fun of the ergometry test, the cycle test. Well, at that point, I was running 10Ks and half marathons pretty regular. I kept failing the test.
Really?
Yeah, they said, "Oh, you're too fit."
You're too fit.
Yeah, I couldn't get my heart rate up high enough.
Holy smokes! Yeah. Wow.
Luckily, they got rid of it.
I remember my dad telling me the story of this guy that was overweight, and what he did was when he had to go tape, he had stuff in his pockets, nuts and bolts and stuff or whatever, and so every week he went to go check, he just took more out. So it showed that he was making progress. I was like, that is genius.
and for those of you who are out there, the civilians don't know what we're talking about being taped. They would. There's a mathematical formula. They take a tape measure and they literally put it around your limbs,
your waist, your hips, your neck, your chest.
Your chest, yeah.
Forearms.
And then they measure you and they measure your weight, and muscle weighs more than fat. And so they do this formula to come up with your body fat percentage.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a best guess at best.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely
It's
just a
horrible.
guess.
But now I've got to defend the Air Force for just a second because
Okay.
y'all espouse how much tougher your PT was.
Yeah.
Well, when I was stationed in Southern California, I ran the Air Force recruiting squadron. I'm at the MEPS in Phoenix, Arizona, and there's a young girl sitting out crying. She's wearing an Air Force tag. I asked her, young lady, what's wrong? Well, she'd failed for the third time the X Factor test. Now,
X Factor test.
the Air Force, the only service that has this, you have to be able to military press a certain number of pounds.
Oh, wow.
And she couldn't do it. And she went home, she tried again, she still couldn't do it. So I walked her over to the Marines and she enlisted in the Marines.
Stop it. That is awesome.
You know what I really got out of that is that the vocabulary test for the Air Force was a lot harder because he used the word espoused.
Devin's going E-S-S-P-P.
Is this going to be on the final exam, Tony?
It wasn't on the ASVAB, you were fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we've got about 2 minutes left. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you'd like to talk about or revisit?
Yeah, just a couple of things real quick. If you're interested in the tournament, please sign up.
Absolutely.
If you want to donate to a great cause, please do so. Purple Heart Home's fantastic. If you want to play a great golf course, River Oaks,
There you go.
704-883-8724. Call the pro shop, get a tee time.
Yeah.
And if you're ever hungry, whether you're playing golf or not, Eagles Bar and Grill is open to the public. The food is good. It's not expensive, for a golf course at least. And come out and join us. Sit out in the back deck, watch people play number 9 and number 18. Just have a good time.
Wow. We'll have to do that. That's awesome, Tony. And I'm definitely going to come join you for a meal and a drink or two over there at Eagles Golf.
Eagles Bar and Grill.
Eagles Bar and Grill, yeah. And it's not too late to sign up for the tournament. Go to phhusa.org. There's still 15 teams open, and there's still ability to sponsor the tournament. So anywhere from $250 to $10,000, whatever level fits you best. We can certainly use it because there's so many veterans out there that need our help, and we can't do it without your support. Tony, you've been a great guest today, man.
We've had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your stories
You're
are
really
amazing.
good at what you do too.
You know, he paused as he was like, how should I say this?
He was,
Y'all done did good.
he was trying to be tactful about it. Did you see that? Like,
This was a lot of fun.
well, we've loved having you over here.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you've missed any part of this broadcast, you can catch it on YouTube, on Purple Heart Home's YouTube page. Go there, check us out. Like, click, subscribe, do all those things that you're supposed to do with the buttons. You know anything else, Leah?
Nope. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.